Okay. Please mute yourself, because if your dog barks during this, then you'll be spotlighted. So, welcome everybody. Enjoying this this spring weather, really wonderful. My bulbs are shooting up. It's good to see. Just a reminder, just a mention about the two retreats that are coming up, April the 10th and the 17th. Those are Saturdays. It'll be from 9 in the morning until 1. Those will be recorded. So they'll be recorded in 1-hour segments. So if you are not able to make it to the meeting, to the retreats, if I know you're interested, if I have your email address, I can send you the link to the Google Drive recordings of that. Or if you do come, if you do attend, you can go back and review those or use those if you like. So so if you're interested in that, just send me an email, and I'll reply. Just having done this now for a year, probably, I don't know, 50 times or something, I just feel like, many of you have practiced a lot. And having 4 hours to really consecutively get into this would be just very, very useful for you. So I encourage you, if you can, to attend, and if you can't, you can just send me your email. Just write me a email message and say, I can't make it, but please send me the links, and I'll do that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and bow to the directions, starting with the east. And then the south. West. North. And to the front. Above. And below. And within. Some of you are probably standing with your hands a little in front of your body, and some have them directly on the body. Either way is fine. This is what we're going to be moving through today. Has to do with the subtlety of our postures and our meditations and our movements, and how those can become increasingly subtle, moving closer and closer into, you say, Zen people say silent illumination, what I like to call presence. Okay. Okay, so let's begin with a little bit of Trembling Mountain. So the leg muscles are moving, and all the rest of the muscles can really just relax, can just let go. And this tends to bring the sense of touch right into the foreground. We can feel our body internally, feel the skin, and it tends to sort of evaporate thinking, because we're focusing on this this pretty intense sensation. So as the body's moving like this, we might say that the mind tends to become more still. Okay, so in a little bit, we're going to stop, as you know. Now, when the body becomes still, there's more energy for the mind. And we're going to use that energy to go more deeply into the sensation. Okay, so let's increase this a little more. Okay, and let's all stop at the same time. So on the count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now let's put the attention on the tingling sensation in the body. Now let's put the attention on the liquid in the body, maybe in the mouth, the eyes. It's the sense of the liquidity internally. Okay, and now let's see if you can sense the pulse maybe the heart beating, or maybe you can feel the pulse somewhere in your hands or inner arm or somewhere. Maybe you can feel it in your feet. So this is another level of movement. So the body's still, and the liquidity is moving. And the tingling, that's certainly changing constantly. So it's moving. And then the mind is just noticing. Okay, very good. Go ahead and break your stance if you want to. And let's put the attention, we'll go into the backwash, so put the attention at the top of the head. And when you do that, the chin sort of tucks a little. And it feels as if the body's kind of gently being pulled up by some magnet or something. It's sort of pulling it up. And it's also being pulled down, of course, by the weight. Okay, so let's now move the attention down the back of the head and down the neck and down the spine. Until we're bent at the waist. And now let's focus the attention on the spine and how open it is. All the way from the top of the neck, all the way down to the tailbone. Okay, now let's come up. And now we're bringing the attention from the tailbone up. You can move the eyes if you want, looking inward. And as we come up, the head begins to come up. Hands begin to move. We do tree and spring. 1. And 2. And 3. Okay, and now let's repeat. And coming back up from the tip of the tailbone. One of my teachers, Chunyi Lin, says if you're visual, if you're very imaginative, you can imagine shooting beams of light from the fingertips, lighting up the spine as it goes up, and then out the top of the head and shooting up into the universe, and then extending out all around you. So that's a kind of a visualization. You can also just sense this. just feeling that moving up, and then going up with it, going way out, and all around. Well, let's do one more. In breath, going up. Breathe normally. And out breath, going down. Breathe normally. Okay, let's do one more backwash. So it helps to feel the bottom of the feet first and be stable. Then bring the attention quickly up the body, up the spine, up to the top of the head. And then that's where this move begins. And then down the spine. It may feel a little uncomfortable in the belly, but it's super comfortable in the back, along the spine of the back. If you're very musical, you can imagine what they call the inner flute, where you're hearing notes getting higher and higher as you go up, and then going down the scale as you go down. Okay. Very good. All right. So moving down, let's open up the neck and shoulders. And then just involve the shoulders when you're ready. You can do them alternately, make circles, or you can do them together, whichever you prefer. I was taught to do them together, and I did it that way for about 25 years, but you can also alternate, whatever feels better. All right, and now moving down a little more. So open up the chest, put the arms back, look up, breathe out, sink down, open up the back, open up the front, and now we're opening up the back. We tend to be front oriented. So to balance that, you need to feel the back as well. I can tell you a funny and poignant story about that at the end of the class today, if you want to hang out and remind me. Okay. Now, if you know opening the 7 gates, this is shorthand for opening the 7 gates. So you're opening the 4th gate, but since you practiced all the others, you can sort of open them all. Okay, very good. Now, let's reduce the movements. Okay, let's come into stillness and notice the breath, the body moving. The body's actually moving the hands. Okay, now let's visualize or remember doing the movement that we just did. Just imagine, remember the memories in the body of how it felt to do the opening heart. This is a visualization, it's a memory. At the same time, it's tactile, it's sensory. So this is what in Breathing Earth Qigong we call extended sensory perception. We're not moving the arms out, but by extending our consciousness, our memory, our mind, we can feel like we are. Now let that get more subtle. The breathing is going to reduce because we're still. Now, as the breathing gets more subtle, perhaps the pulse in the body, the heartbeat, now is more clear. So maybe there's a whole body pulse. So we have the rhythm of the breath, which is now more subtle. We have the rhythm of the pulse, which is faster than the breath. Now let's go to the very, very, very fast rhythm of the tingling. There may be a rhythm to it, not just chaos. And now let's extend the consciousness beyond just to the space around the body as well. And just sort of feel the space, maybe 1 foot all around the body or something, whatever. But so as if the space around the body is alive. Okay. Okay, very good. All right. So moving down, let's go ahead and flex the lower back. So we're tilting the pelvis. This is really good to help prevent lower back pain. If you have a tiny bit of pain, that's okay. Anything more, then don't do it. Okay, and then circling the hips, circling the pelvis. Keep the flexibility in the lower back. Circle them one way and then circle the other way. The lower back is really one of our most vulnerable places in our skeleton. Okay. Okay, very good. So, and now let's do the playing the piano, as if your hands are resting on a counter. And let's check the bottoms of the feet and then also the vertical alignment of the body. Feet should be evenly weighted. Okay, and let's start to the left. So we're going to sink down on the left knee a little. Move that center line over the left foot. Let the right heel come up. And then when you're really steady and able, then you can lift the right foot. Okay, and then let's put the right foot down, no weight. Okay, now shift to your 50-50 again, and then feel that moving over to the right. When it's all the way over to the right, lift the left heel. And when you're ready, lift the left foot. If you sink down a little bit, it helps. Okay, and then touch. So let's do this for a minute or two. And then however you want, you can do any arm movements that you want with it. Okay, very good. All right, now let's go into the two cloud hands. The first one, the palms are away from each other. And whichever hand is on top, we're going to move that way. And we're just going to keep the arms and hands together. So we're going to turn, sink, switch, repeat. And just do this as a dance. And move with the breath. You'll be breathing deeply. Just flowing with the breath. This is wave hands through clouds. This is very easeful. Okay. Let's do a couple more. Okay, and then reduce. So you're back to center. you're ready, so dip the knees and flip the hands. And now we'll do cloud hands internally. So we're moving here in the space around the body, aren't we? That's what the cloud is. Cloud is sort of this kind of extended consciousness around the body. The body's putting out heat, it's putting out electromagnetic energy, and it's sensing all the time, it's sensing the space around it. So by waving our hands through the clouds, we're bringing our consciousness, our attention to the area around the body, kind of inhabiting it in a sense. And we're doing this to the front, but it's extending all around the body, all the way around the back, and up and down in all directions. It's this field. And it's not separate from the air that's moving in and out of the lungs. Okay, very good. Let's reduce this movement. And we have one hand in front of the heart, one in front of the belly. Palms are lined up. And maybe you can feel the hands kind of separating with the in-breath, moving closer together with the out-breath. And then the breath calms down. But there's still a subtle expansion of the torso with the breath. Perhaps you can feel the pulse or maybe some heat. And perhaps there's some sensitivity in the palms. Okay, good, very good. Let's go into turning the body to look at the moon. So we're going to start by lifting your dominant shoulder. Just going to lift the shoulder, turn, lift the other shoulder. Kind of making a circle with the shoulder. We're going to shift the weight. Okay, and the palms are going to be opposite. Okay, now we're extending our awareness farther out from the body. Turning the body to look at the moon. The moon is behind us. So the moon is awakening. The moon is behind us, where it's usually not seen. So we're turning the body to look at the moon. Maybe be aware of your back. Okay, and let's reduce the movement. As we come into stillness, notice the breath and perhaps the body pulse and perhaps this energetic tingling aliveness. And that's in the body. Now let's extend our awareness now out beyond the body, sort of feeling out around the body. Okay, very good. And then let's put one hand to the heart near the belly. So this sort of brings this experience in. They call this packing the chi. So we're sort of, holding the energy into the body. Okay, very good. Now let's just come back to standing. Now your eyes can be open or closed or partly open. If they're open, just focus kind of down. And now we have many choices as to where to put the attention. It can be on the sensations in the body, from the gross presence of the body and the weight and so on, all the way to the subtle kind of tingling. Can put our attention on the movement in the body, the breath, the liquidity, the pulse. We can put our attention on our posture. Are we aligned? Is our chin down? Is our body straight? We can extend our awareness out with the out breath. Just reminding ourselves that we're part of something way bigger, the world. And particularly behind us. Okay, very good. Now let's go ahead and bring up our stool or cushion, or chair. If we're going to be doing a little movement while sitting, I recommend the Lan Fa for a mudra. Just touching the 2 fingers or even the 3 to the thumb, and then just having those on your thighs or your knees. Just because if we're clasping our hands, then it's a little harder to move sometimes. Okay, let's just loosen up our head and neck a little bit. And then involve the shoulders as you want to. Okay, very good. And bring the attention to the spine. And we're not going to do a whole backwash, but just sort of lean to the front a bit. And then lean back. And let your head be loose. So lean to the front, that's an exhale. Okay, and then reduce the movements. And when you come into that still point, then check the body from the perineum all the way up. Just check that the chin is tucked a little bit. Tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And when you feel this alignment, there'll be an in-breath and the breathing will be easy. Okay, so we notice right away, we notice the stillness of the body and the posture. And then we notice the gross movement, the movement of the breath. And let the breath become more subtle. As the breath calms down a bit, then the body pulsation may become more evident. And the sense of heat, the radiant quality. The liquidity, the fluidity of the body. And the tingling sensations, which actually are constant. The presence is constant. And you may notice that wherever you put your attention, whatever in the body you put your attention, you might detect tingling in that area where you're placing your attention. If it's useful, you can also bring light to that area. So for instance, if you want to feel your belly, bring your attention to the belly and imagine it sort of lighting up. But even without that, there'll be a tingling there. And a tingling is a presence of aliveness or energy, chi. And it's also the presence of consciousness. If we put our attention somewhere else on the body, just the act of bringing attention to that place, that area of the body, it's possible to feel the tingling in that area. And the tingling is the combination of form, physicality, and consciousness. So if we're just sitting in mindfulness, we may just get a sense of the whole physical body. The whole body is just tingling. That's actually what the body is. So that's a subtle awareness of the energy in the body. The body pulse, heartbeat, heat, that's a little less subtle. Presence of the breath is obvious. Now, that tingling quality can be seen as well. It's tingling because we're sensing it with the sense of touch. If we close our eyes now and look at and notice what we see with our eyes completely closed. And just look. And we'll actually see what we're feeling with the tingling. We'll see this. We'll see the tingling. This appears as, I don't know, millions of points of light moving very, very rapidly. But just a sense of an energy field. So that's how the life force energy comes to us through the eyes, through vision, without objects. When the eyes are closed, there's no objects to look at. So we're just seeing. We're seeing formlessness. We're seeing consciousness itself, or energy of which everything is made. So that's how we can see it. Now, in the mind, if we begin with the mind as a field of energy, just like the blue sky, just this open presence, this energetic field. If a thought appears in the mind, that's a form. And without a thought, there's formlessness or boundlessness. Okay, and that consciousness that we're perceiving in the mind, it's the same as the energetic sense of the body. So what the mind is made of and what the body is made of is the same. So we can go very deeply into this energy, which is what all of our sensory apparatus is detecting, each in its own way. Sound is vibration, Light is vibration. Sense of touch is vibration. And the consciousness is also. So now here for the next part, all of this is contained in this body-mind, everything we've been doing. Now let's just use our extended sensory perception and include the area around the body. Okay, so this is something a little bigger. This is something which supports us, is ever present, connects this being to everything, and is inside the body as well as around it. So we can just rest in this expanded awareness. It's very easeful, it's very relaxing. And you can bring the attention to the breath or the heart rate or the body or anything. It's all included in here. Now just what Thich Nhat Hanh calls riding the waves of birth and death. Kind of a sense of being at home in the world. Because this field extends all around infinitely. So the body and mind are just an energetic formation in this boundless reality. And so the atmosphere is one of well-being. And finally, we can extend this out using a metta practice. May all beings be well. May all beings awaken. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free. And we're sending that out in all directions. So we'll sit for maybe one more minute or so. And now as we begin to come fully back, you might try just moving a little bit, moving the upper body, shoulders, head, just moving a little bit. And maybe increase the movement a little more if you want to. Okay, and let's do our closing. So we'll clap our hands one time, count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Place the heels in the eye sockets. Comb back the hair. And tap the kidneys. And massage the kidneys. Okay. Thank you for your practice. And if you would like now to exit the meeting, that's fine. If you would like to stay, and I'll stop the recording, and we'll have questions and comments, that's fine too.